What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to episode number 9 of the Dudeality podcast, where our motto is living comfortably uncomfortable. My name is Ian Perez, as always, joined by Jonathan Mercado, Victor Rivera, and Chris Dora. We're 4 ordinary dudes with extraordinary dreams.
What's up, baby? You were gonna kick it off to me. I was waiting for the kickoff.
No, it's just I just through the silent ooh. We're on
There
the
was
same.
a silent oh. I read you, so I got it. Appreciate you. But man, let's go ahead and start it off with, how was y'all's week? Give me some positives from this past week.
Man, positives. My wife's birthday was yesterday, so that was cool. We were pretty much out all day. So she had a good birthday, man. I bought her a digital camera, like one of those good cameras.
DSLR.
So
clean.
So that was cool. It's a Canon T7, so she's excited about that. She's playing with it. She takes good pictures, good editing skills, so she can put that to work.
For a second, I thought you bought it for her, but was going to use it for the podcast.
That's exactly.
I was like, "Oh, you smooth." I was like, "Oh, you smooth."
Oh, baby, happy birthday! But let me get it on the weekend.
Let me go ahead and use it real quick.
I thought about it. I'm just kidding. But so it was cool. So we had a lot of fun, pretty much out thinking all day yesterday. Took it to restaurants and favorite spot. And it was good.
Now, shout out to your wife, man, for taking that leap of faith and starting her own business. The launch date was actually on her birthday, which was yesterday, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday. We got one order,
Nice,
so it's cool.
All right, what else we got going on, fellas?
Yesterday was the first for me. Like, it was the first time I did an escape room. I've been wanting to do one. Yeah, fun. No, like an actual escape room.
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to do one for years, but my wife never wanted to do it because she thought I wouldn't listen to her, which is not true, but that was just in her head, so she didn't want to do it. But we went with a group of people for someone else's birthday. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Which one did y'all do?
We did the escape game like in downtown
in Austin.
And yeah.
And I've done that one. I've done a virtual one, and I've done the one that was right here in Round Rock. So I done.
Yeah, we did that one forever ago.
I realized real fast that I'm not the person that had those critical thinking skills in the moment.
Did you guys complete it, or?
I'm the guy that messes around. I'm the mess around guy. Really don't add any value but entertainment.
I'm pretty sure when we did one it was forever ago. I think when you first started CG, we did one in the.
Oh yeah, we did one.
And I'm pretty sure you broke something to where we couldn't get to the next stage because
I was trying to use bronze. I was trying to use my bronze.
That's cool. Did y'all get out?
Yeah, we got out with like just under. It was like 5 minutes and 56 seconds left.
Sure,
that's pretty good. I did that one time. We didn't get out. Whatever happened, we didn't get out. I didn't close.
That's funny.
Mr. Ian, what you got, baby?
Last week was chill. I had a lot of trainings for work, so it was a lot of death by PowerPoint. I worked out pretty somewhat consistent. I think I did CG once or twice. My body hated me for it. Like I was telling y'all before we first started this podcast or this episode, I was actually in the gym for the first time, like in 2 months. So it actually felt good to be pushing up some weight. I felt beefy at the end of it. That gym
pump. You get a little pump. I like it. Well, a positive for me and Chris is we hit a roadblock, and cool thing about this roadblock, it could have made or break somebody. So we were talking to one of our brokers that we've been communicating for the past 3 weeks, and it's been a hit or miss. She's extremely busy. She's the GOAT. She's the one that literally knows all the ins and outs to what we're trying to do, which is the Burr method. She's done it 1,000 different times. She is the main person. When we bought this course, she's the one that does everything. And so now she's super busy because everybody's getting funneled to her, and the communications wasn't there. And so I was trying to schedule a meeting, and it was just back and forth. And so I texted the main guy, Jamal King, which he runs the course. He taught the course. And I didn't know if the number really worked, right? He gave us his number, didn't know. But I was like, hey, I'm just go ahead and shoot him a message. Why not? And I texted him. I said, hey, our broker is she seems very busy. Is there any other brokers that you would recommend? And so the reason we bought this course was because they literally had all the experts that we needed to get our project done, right? So it mitigate risk. These people have been doing it. And so we want to use their team. And so I was expecting a list of brokers, and his response was, I suggest you find your own broker. Create your own legacy, fire mark. And I had to I couldn't text Chris at that moment in time because I got a little emotional, right? The first thing, I was all trying to type something, erased it, type something again, erased it. I was in the moment of kind of frustration because I literally paid for this course to have your team who's been doing this to mitigate my risk, all right, of my investment. And so I was like, oof, like I was hot, man. It was late at night too. It's like 9 p.m. I was about to go to bed. Couldn't go to bed, obviously. And so I was looking at it, and I was looking at it. And most people would have just stopped, bro. Like that would have just said, up, you know what? Right now it's probably not a good time, 1,000 different excuses, right? Because now it's higher risk. But I looked at it, and the next day I sent it to Chris, which is my business partner here. And I could have put a lot of unnecessary pressure on Chris and be like, yo, I could have vented, like, yo, he's trying to say we need to find our own stuff. We bought this course. I could have played victim. Like I could have done a lot of things that could have damaged Chris and myself if I would have put my emotion on Chris. But instead I got solution oriented. Like I got in the moment. I'm like, bet this is the challenge. You know what? He's right. I need to learn how to hunt on my own, right? I can do this. Like I've been reading about it. I've done, I put in my reps. Now it's time for me to take action. And so I sent Chris the text. I said, I'm already looking for brokers right now with action steps. Like I didn't even put oh my God, why did he send this text to us? I sent him the text and I said, I'm already looking for brokers right now. I'll have some in a little bit. And literally this past week I had 2 interviews with the broker, and then April reached back out to me. We got a meeting on Monday. Bro.
Yeah, and as soon as you told me about it, I started looking for other brokers too. And I had a couple that I had lined up that I was going to reach out to, but then you told me that you had found one that had been part of the program as well. And that was what I was hoping for, was someone that knew the program, was still within the system. So it worked out in that sense. So we have a couple options that are familiar with the system. But we have backups if they don't work out.
Yeah, not only do we get the GOAT now, we have an option to speak with her. We all have some brokers lined up and ready to go. But man, that could have done some damage if I didn't have the right mind space and I wasn't I didn't let my emotions react. Instead, I responded and became solution oriented. And I thought that was just big. That was a big turning point. And because I put in those reps, opportunities started popping, boom, 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 because I didn't let my emotions take control. So I thought that was cool, man.
That's huge, dude. Because any man, if their pride's checked, it's like cussing somebody out. Like, I put this money in there. You're supposed to help me out.
No,
so that's big kudos to that, brother. That's awesome.
Yeah, good job being solution oriented. So and not letting that roadblock kind of kind of bring you down.
Not only that, just not leaking that to my partner is what I was most proud of. Is I didn't let that leak to Chris. I immediately
that's another win for you though, because your personality is so headstrong that you were empathetic. You were empathetic towards your partner without even giving him that burden. So you already thought ahead. So I think that's 2 wins for you in my book.
It was good. I was proud of that moment, guys. That's why I was speaking about it. And because we decided to take actions, opportunities started opening. I bet you if I would have turned negative, opportunities probably wouldn't have started opening for me.
Oh yeah, we would have had some closed doors, that's for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, man. So that was pretty cool. And we always have a little topic about, things about us. And the little topic today is going to be, what is your pet peeve?
Smacking.
Smacking.
Yeah.
Mackin, talking to your
Boy.
muffle.
Yes.
Is that yours?
Like, oh, bro, like the ones that just salivate their food to like, I want to like flip the tape. I just, oh my God. Apparently there's like some disorder of, like that. There's a name for it. I can't do it. And like, I love my wife and my daughter to death, but they can make literally the softest food crunch. Oh my God.
Bro, same. Same. I'm leading to something. So Victor, what is yours?
I would say a couple of things, but I guess the worst thing right now is if you leave food at the bottom of the sink, you put your plate, and then you leave food in the bottom of the sink, and then turn on the sink, and then it just fills up because there's food at the bottom of the drain, Okay. So you leave instead of like throwing the food away in the trash and then putting your plate or rinsing your plate, you leave all the chunks of food in your plate, and then
have a disposal,
or leaving it on the plate so it sticks and just cakes to it.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, and so
all right, Chris, what you got, man?
I'm trying to think because I feel like there's a lot of things that are like minor, but like I'm trying to think of one that really gets to me, and I'm kind of blanking right now.
Dude, when you're driving, people don't put a blinker on. That drives me nuts. That drives me nuts, man.
All right, while you think about it, I'm about to lead to the story. I'm glad Victor did not say smacking. I was in the car with this guy. We're driving to an event, and he was slamming on an egg Salvadorian sandwich. And never in my entire freaking life have I heard somebody smack so hard in their food, so aggressively, as if they knew that was my pet peeve. Literally, the whole conversation, I could not comprehend what he was saying because, like,
I was eating pretty bad.
I was all like,
that must have been a good sandwich because
my heart was about to explode, but I didn't want to be rude because he was clearly did not know what he was like, did not know. Like, cause he was enjoying his food so much, man. He was like literally the biggest bites. The mouth was wide open. I felt like you could just see the food coming off of his mouth. The smack was so big that there was just like splattering on my car dash. I was like,
I did not do that.
I feel like this guy hasn't seen food in like 10 years. Now, shout out to whoever made it. I think it was his wife who made it. But it was good. He did let me try it. But oh my gosh, Victor.
Number one,
it took so much self-control to not say anything.
I was up since 4:30, hadn't ate anything. So that was my first time just eating. And I've been up already, like doing 3 camps. So, and I would say this, now that I mentioned it, I was like, I was just downing it. I wasn't even, I was just downing it. It was talking to me, so I was like, what am I gonna do? Just not say nothing?
So you smack instead?
I guess I was. I was even thinking about it.
I thought of a few.
I need to ask your wife, are you a smacker?
No, I was just that one. Just
man, that seems like it was natural. You're in your natural habitat, brother.
I wasn't even worrying about you.
Natural.
Yeah, so I thought of a couple pet peeves. When people talk on the speakerphone in public places.
Ooh.
And they're like loud and they're aggressive. So sometimes like no one wants to hear your conversation. You might, but some people might want to hear it. But
they put it on speaker and they're talking.
Yeah. And then another one is like when you have there's a group of people walking like in a hallway or something. They're walking super slow and don't let anyone pass.
Or when you're being nice and you let somebody walk across the street and they take every second of the entire day to walk across that street.
Okay, I got one that's speaking of that. It irks me when you're driving on the highway and you're in front of a slow car, or even when you're traveling like out of town, there's a slow car in front of you. You switch lanes and you try to speed up so you can pass them, and then they speed up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah,
it turned into a race.
That too.
because they don't have their cruise control on. So they're constantly like slow and then fast and then slow and then fast. I'm like, dog, make up your mind. Like, just go with the speed limit. So that way I'm always going above the speed limit. So that way I can just go and pass you. Like, don't speed up, bro. Because when I get behind you again, you go slow. You're like, bro, come. Like, oof. All right, man, we got to get on to the topic because I can go on for, like, we all can go on for some days about some pet peeves. Man. So today's topic, guys, is going to be the millionaire money mindset. What do the millionaires do differently that the rest of us don't, right? So they treat their money differently, they move it differently, and their mindset is different. And so off the bat, guys, what we're just going to do is going to popcorn some things off that you might think millionaires do that we don't. So that way we can create a list of something tangible for anybody listening to be like, oh man, you know what? I don't do that. Oh, that's, I need to do that right there. So give them some steps, right? We're not going to go in order. So I just want to popcorn of what we learned this past week because, you know, we're not millionaires ourselves and we want to be millionaires. So in order to become millionaires, we need to study the game, right? We got to be curious. And so this entire week, we've all been studying about millionaire money mindset. So off the bat, pop off anything that you feel like that you read that millionaires do that the rest of us don't.
Retirement plans, not retirement. Oh yeah, retirement or even life insurance.
Boom.
Life insurance is the big one because I started a plan for myself because I will be having 3 children and a wife that I'll support. So if God takes me from this earth, I want them taken care of. But I had no idea that your life insurance policy is almost like a house, like it's with specific types of plans and terms and all that. You can, the money you're putting in eventually hits a point to where like there's either equal or more equity in the money in that bucket compared to what they would get if and when I pass. So that's something I just learned here in the past like a year or two because I had no idea about it.
Brother, most people don't even know what life insurance is because when somebody passes away, they reach out to family members, they go GoFundMes because life insurance it's not even heard of, bro. So talk about breaking the cycle. Victor, add on to that.
Yeah, so I was kind of the same boat as Ian as far as I didn't know what life insurance. I thought it was just, you pay some monthly just to cover you if you die. Like if you die. So from a poor mindset, I was like, isn't it like kind of like throwing money away? Like, yeah, it's good to have it just in case. But I was like, I don't, that just pays off your funeral or whatever. That's what I was thinking. But go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, so just a little bit what Ian was saying, there's 2 different life insurance, guys. There's going to be your temporary life insurance, which is like you're paying a rent for this high amount in case you die. That money is going to be now transferred to whoever's the beholder, right?
Yeah, the term insurance.
Yeah, there you go. And the permanent life insurance, that's more of like, it's same thing, but it compounds, it builds interest over time. So that's more like this money is like, it's building. It's a savings account that builds over time. So when you pass, you still get that money trindled down, but also because it compounds over time, you can actually use that money now. Like it just builds. And there's gonna be a certain point in that plan where you stop paying and it still grows. So that's for a little more savvier. It does cost a little bit more, but the benefits of that one is legacy.
And I think when most people think of life insurance, they first think of the life insurance they get through work. So it usually covers maybe a year's worth of salary or like 2 or 3, depending on what plan you pick. Or they think of like term insurance where as long as you keep paying, like you'll get covered for 100,000, 200,000, million, whatever you set it up for. But yeah, that permanent one was the one I didn't really know about either until we started looking more into it. And there, like you said, it's kind of like a savings account, and people don't know this, but you can actually pull the money out and use it for investments or use it for different things, and then just put it back into it, and it's like Jonathan was saying, it's like a savings account, but you have, instead of earning maybe point whatever percent it is, that you put in a savings account, like through your bank, you're getting about 7%. And so that compound interest, like Jonathan had brought up too, is like, it just keeps growing and growing way faster than if you were to just leave that money in a bank. But it is more expensive. Like It's probably going to cost you a couple $100 a month to put
That's a
into
mindset.
it.
That's a mindset, right? So that's a priority.
Yeah.
So that's how, so life insurance, permanent insurance, that's how the wealthy stays wealthy. That's how it's passed on for generations and generations. So that is like a number one for millionaires. They want to set the next generation up. And for most of us, that's not even thought. When we pass, when we die, GoFundMe, like, yo, whatever you have, it gets leaked onto your family. Like, if you have nothing, they're going to have nothing, right? And so for a millionaire, they don't want that. So they put that on them now, but that is a priority. So we can keep this money going for years and years and years and generations after generations. So just off the bat right there, if you just do that alone, that's a big win.
And then I wanted to say something about it as well. So like when you do the term policies, like say you pass away while you have that term insurance, you're only going to get whatever that term is for. So if it's 300,000, you're only getting 300,000. But with that permanent, you're building up that money that you're putting into it. Plus you have your whatever plan it was. So if you set it for $1 million, it's going to be $1 million plus whatever you've been putting into it, plus the compound interest that's been growing from it.
Yeah. And now what I like the most about that is that it's like a retirement plan as well. Like, you know, and this is what I was thinking, because like I was telling you, Jonathan, is like with science, technology, you know, that is out there, you can live a lot longer. Like most people, you know, especially us, like men, like we die earlier, like than women. So the maturity level, you can choose when, right, when you can stop paying, meaning that at a moment 55, 65, normally 65, that's what the retirement age, but to where you can stop paying, and then the money, like you said, keeps growing. You can pull off it. You can pull off it like if it's a retirement plan, right? That's what I like about it the most. And then when you do pass away, is that you're leaving it for like your other generations.
Right? The other generation is set. No question about it. Like you are literally set the next generation up like that, man. That's super important. So let's go ahead and move on, because we, you know, the millionaires do a whole lot more, guys. And so off the bat, what else y'all have that millionaires do?
So I was going to say as far as retirement plans though, like you have your 401k, like your IRAs, like Roth IRA. But people, like, they put so much money into their 401k, they put money into it thinking, oh, that's gonna take care of me when I'm older. But like, I mean, the 401k was originally designed to be a supplement to pensions. So like when you retire, you're getting about 70% of what your salary is. I think, if I remember correctly, you get about 70% of what your salary was. So if you're already struggling with the salary you have to survive, like how are you supposed to survive for 10, 15, 20 plus years, like after you retire? Like that's why you see a lot of older people working at Walmart or Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever, because they couldn't afford to just live off of that 401k and Social Security.
Yeah, when you say retire, we're thinking on the beach, relaxing, drinking margaritas. That's very few people who retire like that if they just go off their 401k retirement at age 65, because most likely them dudes are back at work, or they're having to sell everything they have, live extremely under their means, and still end up having to go back at work. Yeah, man. So, and with the retirement plans and with the life insurance, we wouldn't know all this unless we got what?
Can you repeat the question? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, no, it's all good. We wouldn't know about the life insurance, the permanent life insurance, the retirement plans, the Roths. We wouldn't know all that without who?
Financial advisor.
A financial advisor. Like millionaires, they know. Let's get our experts involved. Got to get the experts involved, right? So without the financial advisor, you only know what you know. All right. So off the bat, majority of the population don't have a financial advisor. They think they're fine with the money they make. And dude, millionaires, they know how to get mentors. They know how to hire the experts. So if you are somebody sitting in your car or listening right now, and if you don't have any of these things, first step I would say is, hey, let's hire somebody, right? Let's find out more about this, because you could set up that next generation, and you can retire. You can make yourself a good retirement if you get an expert on your side to help you make that blueprint. What else do millionaires do that most people don't?
Make their money work for them.
Yeah, they invest in assets that pay for their liabilities.
So there's 3 principles that all the wealthy millionaires, billionaires do. They make money, they save money, and they make money work for them. It seems very simple. Oh my gosh, a 3-step process. It seems very simple, but there's all these obstacles that are going to come at your way. And so you're going to have to be curious. You're going to have to go explore and dive deep, right? And so we all make money somehow, some way, right? We have a primary source of income. Saving money, oh man, that's what a majority of people don't know how to save money. 60% of Americans, if a $1,000 emergency popped up, they would be in debt. 60%. If $1,000 was having to like knock on your door and say, hey, you have to spend it, most people won't have it. They'll have to get into debt. So that saving is huge. And so which leads to this next one, guys, and it's going to be, I'll pop off this next one because it just transitioned really easy, is people don't have an emergency fund.
That was the one thing. That was the one thing I was going to say, is that the first time I met with a financial advisor, that was the first thing that we worked on is like, you got to have that emergency fund, because like things will come up. What is an emergency
fund? Tell me, what's emergency fund?
You got to have at least 36 months worth of money, pretty much of what you like, your bill, your rent or mortgage or whatever it is that you pay today. If you lose your job completely, no money coming in, this amount of 36 months will hold you, right? In other words, and so, or things happen you can pull from without having to pull from your own money, that income that's coming in, or some investments or your 401k or whatever you got out there. This is going to be your safety net if you need to, car breaks down, whatever, right? Things that are unexpected.
The storm is going to happen.
Yeah.
It's going to happen to everyone. Some people are going to feel it harder because they do not have that nest egg. And some people who have that nest egg, they're good. They're straight. They're going to make that payment and they're going to fill their nest egg back up. Now, how do you get a nest egg? What's the net? Like, how does that even happen? What do some people do, millionaires do, that most people don't? This is like the number one foundational step. If you could do anything, what would this one thing be?
For me, just living under your means. Like when you get your income, you got to put that, like a percentage
they
of
pay
what
themselves
you make
first.
way.
So you're there. It's tracking your money. How do you pay yourself first if you don't track your money? Yeah. Like this one is real. I think I was like 27 when I first got my financial advisor. For 27 years, I never tracked my money. Kind of like had a budget. Like, hey, if I made more money, then I kind of like spent more money. And then when money got tight, kind of like slowed it down. And then it was just this cycle. Never tracked my money, but we can relate to fitness. If somebody's coming to me with fitness goes and I don't know how much food they're intaking, I got to know what are your habits? What are you overeating? What are you undereating? Right? So you have to track it or else you're guessing. See, if you don't tell your money where to go, it's just going to be lost. So tracking your money.
That's a habit that like none of us have or did, I would say, growing up and stuff like that. Even today, that's one of the things I think that, when it comes to education, I think it's on us as parents to teach that to our kids, right? Millionaires teach their kids and their kids like, hey, this is the game. You got to do this, right? And so that's something that, and also with that is just the consumer mindset. Like, I need to consume. I need to buy. I'm like, that is like, millionaires don't think like that. They're not thinking like, oh, I need a trip. I want to take a trip and rent this airplane or jet. They're owning jets. They're not renting, or like they're not they're not like paying the hotel. They own the hotel, fool.
Yeah. I got a quote.
Then
I
those
got
be
a
the
quote that leads just to
billionaires.
that. It's the rich stay rich because they live like they are poor, and the poor stay poor because they live like they are rich.
That's true, man. Like growing up, like the Jordans came out. Oh, I gotta have the Jordans. Like I gotta look fly. I need those $200, $500 Jordans. I never really understood that. One, I couldn't afford it, first of all. But two, I was like, I want to spend that much money. Like, you know how much like how much those actually cost to make? It's like pennies on the dollar, man.
Exactly.
So, but that's that consumer mindset. I think that's one thing that that millionaires like don't have or have taught themselves or taught their family generations on is like, hey, don't be a consumer. Don't be a consumer. We're not looking to buy the shoe. We're looking to buy the company that makes the shoe.
So going back to tracking, after tracking, like what's the budget look like? There's like ratios out there that I never knew about. There's like a ratio of how much money that you make. 20, 30% of it should be going to your mortgage. 20% of it should be paying to yourself, to your nest egg, to your investments. And sometimes the rest of it is spent for your living expenses. Like there's different ratios for different type of people. There's more aggressive. There's more general. Did y'all look into that? Did y'all see that?
I'll be honest, I didn't really look into that, but that is definitely something that
So
you hear a lot of people talk about in the finance world, like having that ratio.
So one thing that I'm doing is I'm putting out, I divide the ratios a little differently. That works for me, but what I'm doing currently is 10% is going to just savings of my income, 10% going to savings, 15% is just taxes. Taxes. Now I track my own taxes now.
You're an entrepreneur. You pay a lot of taxes, brother.
Yeah, and so I'm trying to have more kids. That's why I'm trying to lower it. I'm kidding. But yeah, it's 50%, and then 20% I'm trying to invest. And so 20% of my income I'm trying to invest, and the rest will go to like the bills and stuff like that. So really limiting myself to like really going out and stuff like that. And if I do, it's already like fixed into like I already know like, oh, this month is like this month, somebody's birthday, Valentine's Day, like all this stuff. I know I'm gonna get hit hard. So I already kind of had a plan in place to like, okay, I got this, right? So that's kind of my ratios right now. So then I'm living under my means. And it's funny because I was talking to my wife when we were doing this. Well, I was telling her, like, hey, this is what I think I need to do. And she's on board all the way. Is like, if I don't put the money away, what do you think it's going to go to? I'm going to spend it. It's going to go somewhere. Like, have you been in that situation where like you track your money, how much money's coming in, and then you're like, where'd it all go? Right? Have anyone had that moment? I have that so many times. Like,
I have that moment because I don't track.
Yeah, I was like, I had this much money, and then I was like, how can I be down to like $10? You know what I'm saying?
I just checked yesterday and I had a G. What happened? And that for me, I don't track one, period. So that's my first flaw. But then it's so easy, like not PayPal and Cash App, and just you swipe your card. And if you don't have, and I actually had to sit down with Jonathan last week, which was, I guess, a win that I forgot to bring up, but just figuring out how to make it easier for me to track multiple accounts and like one main account, and it kind of splits off into, I guess, different percentages. But like, I don't have a checkbook. I don't write down every transaction I do. So if I just keep swiping and swiping, I have no idea. I mean, I have a general idea, but I don't really have a percentage based off of like what I'm spending my money on. So there's no real way I can track anything based off of one debit card.
Yeah. And I just started this, like, I'm not no expert whatsoever. Like, I just started this like this year. Like, this is like, going on my third month where I'm doing this, to where I have different things. And that, like, I told my wife, like, oh, this is how much money we have in the bank, like our spending money. He's like, didn't you just get paid? I was like, well, yeah, but here, let me tell you. If I put all the accounts together, this is how much money we have. It's like, oh, okay. I thought we were broke. I'm like, well, yeah, don't count those other things. Like, don't count those other things, man. We're trying to stay in the game.
Now, Chris, how do you do your money? because we're stuck on this money part, because this money part right here, the track and the spending and the budgeting, I think if you mess this up, you're not going to get anywhere else what the millionaires do. Like if you mess this up, you can't invest. You can't pay for your life insurance. You can't put money into your Roth. Like if you mess this tracking thing up, you're going to be, what is it? Just over broke, right? You have a job just over broke is what they call a job. Is what's the real term that I'm looking for here? Is you're paycheck to paycheck at this point, right?
Yeah.
If you don't track, you're going to be paycheck to paycheck. We've all been there, which is why we are learning now, right? We put in the right people in place. So Chris, from I know, have you ever been paycheck to paycheck? Because you always just seem like a steady dude that's always just kind of done things right.
I mean, yeah, I mean, in a sense, I've still been kind of paycheck to paycheck, but I'm also trying to put money. I do put money into investments. Like I use different apps. Like I use Acorns to just let it do its own thing. Like I set it up for an automatic pay every week. And then also it takes the change from my credit card spend, like the things I spend on my credit card, and just invests it into that account. And then I do a little bit of my own like stocks as well that I've been investing in. And then obviously the 401k, I invest money into that. And then the rest of it, I just make sure that I save a little bit of it. I mean, right now, since been trying to get out of debt, I've been putting a little bit more into paying off the debt. But I save a little bit, and then I make sure I pay off my bills, my mortgage, car payment, and then the rest goes towards whatever expenses I have. But
go ahead.
I was gonna say, but like as far as like tracking, I could definitely be better about it. But I just kind of look at since I pay everything with credit card anyways, I just kind of see how much I'm spending on those cards, and then just try to make sure that if I start spending too much, just to kind of taper it off. But I did see something interesting the other day when I was doing some research. Someone had said, like, look at your bank statement for the previous month, count everything on there that was a want and not a need, and then reduce that by 50% and put that extra 50% like into savings. I was like, wow, that's actually pretty smart.
Man, this learning thing, guys, just from this podcast and, having to study and be curious, it's been like trajectory. I think all of us, how long we've run this podcast, what number is this?
9.
This is episode, yeah.
Like 2 months.
We're getting into month 3.
The leaps and bounds that we've made over the past 2 months has been ridiculous. Paramount, all from one thing: self-development. Why is self-development so taboo? I don't understand. It's just learning a new skill. Anyways, I got a little hyped up there. Like it hurts me that people think like self-development was like, ugh, like why do I need that? And
like for sure, like
learning, bro, like you're just learning.
I learned a lot from Chris, like from Chris's credit thing. I explained to my wife. I was like, oh yeah, that's kind of smart. I was like, yeah. But
you got free stuff by buying stuff.
Dude, I did. I went to applied for the Apple credit card. And everything, I get 1% cash back on pretty much everything. If I use the Apple Pay, I get 2% back. Any Apple products or anything I buy through the Apple app or whatever, I get 3% back on that. So
nice.
So back to millionaire and money. We just kind of hit on the topic because most millionaires, what they do with their money is they actually invest back into themselves. Not only do they invest money into real estate, stock market, something that's going to get them a bigger return on their investment, but they invest in themselves through books, through mentors, through experts, through education, right? Whether
seminars,
like they spend so much money into themselves to be able to get these other streams of income, because you only know what you know. And at this point in my life, books are a way bigger return on my investment than college, than than Harvard, than Yale, than anything like this, because you're hundreds and thousands of dollars in debt, and one 50-cent book that you can get from the half book sale or whatever the case may be could literally change your life for the better from one book. And I'm not talking about no inspiration book. I'm talking about knowledge-based books, very specific to get you from point A to point B. Like, I value books just as much as I value somebody going to Harvard, somebody going to Yale. That's how I see books. It is literally giving you point A to point B. And I'm not talking about the inspiration books at all. I'm talking about straight knowledge. Now, I'm not going to knock anybody who goes to Yale. I give them props because they decided to invest. At the end of the day, they still invested hundreds and thousands of dollars on education. I can't knock them. That's why they make more money than the general population. Is they invested hundreds and thousands of dollars into themselves. And you can't even invest $20 on a book, 50 cents on a book, $2 on a book. Like, I think that's where a mindset shift is from millionaires to the rest of us, is that piece right there.
Yeah, I think I 100% agree on that. Like, we didn't, like, as most of the population doesn't really put in the time in to invest in their own self, right? They're too kind of, all right, they're kind of in the rat race. And I put myself in that, like, before that we started this, like, kind of this little group, this book club. We started as a book club type of thing. And then I would read books that were like assigned to me almost, right, from like my job or stuff like that, or something I was maybe really interested in. But yeah, I mean, so much like in the story of my time I've learned just by reading, just doing research and stuff like that. I kind of blew my mind on why I didn't like start, this personal development journey sooner.
It's crazy. It is crazy. Whenever I found a problem, I read a book, and that book led to other books. Then I ran into another problem. I just, you know what I became really good at? Just becoming a problem solver. At the end of the day, if I could teach my kids how to solve problems, I can be okay in my head that they're going to go out and do whatever they want to do in the world because they can solve problems, right? And I think that's how most entrepreneurs make their bread. They're solving a problem.
And that's what basically the definition of an entrepreneur is. It's a problem solver.
There it goes. Now, are we missing anything? Because I think I covered off my list that I believe that millionaires do with their money than the rest of us.
Yeah. So yeah, one of the things I think it's building assets. It's one of the big things like I'm really into right now, just building assets, like making like, because when we say like have like my money, or millionaires have their money make money, like really specifically, right, just building assets, things, right, little machines that make you money. So like the stock market, housing, like real estate investment, property management, like those things are huge with them. But only that, they also know like how to, I wouldn't say manipulate, but they know the loops when it comes to like tax breaks and things like that. All right. So like for those that don't know, like 401ks also not only was there to like supplement like pensions, right, to where, right, pensions now is really, it's unheard of, really, to be honest with you. Like, a lot of companies don't even offer you a pension and stuff like that. They offer you a 401k, right? But it's also you don't get taxed on it. So that is one of the kind of the perks of a 401k.
At least not until you pull out the money.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They don't get taxed on it. You get taxed on it like later, right? When you retire and things like that. Right now you get taxed on it. And then the Roth IRAs, that's one, it's like it's already taxed, right? It's already taxed
for the Roth, yeah.
Yeah,
and not right? The traditional.
Yeah, and it doesn't tax you any later anymore. And so those are the things that you got to know as well. It's like knowing like those tax things. I mean, they know how to play the game. Like they know if I'm going to. It's one of the things that I figured like. But by reading is that if you have like money, like an asset that's making money, right? Don't take it out, put it into a trust, right? And then into that trust, right? Now that money goes in there. So that has a different tax, right, break than if you would have just taken it out. So these millionaire folks, they know how to play that game to where like, oh, or they also create It's slipping me right now, but not only a trust, but they create like a shell company, not a shell company. It's called something else, for lack for a better word. So they create a company, an entity where that money goes into. All right. So then you can
Like
pull
an
money
LLC or an S
yeah.
corp or something like that.
You can put money from that entity, and the tax is different too. It's a lot lower. And so like knowing all those things, just by reading and knowing, I was like, man, that's crazy. Like, those are things that's how because they can keep more of their money. They're not doing anything unlawful. They're just playing the game that's there.
No, they're not just playing the game. You said it.
Yeah.
You said it last podcast. You got to play to win. They're not just playing the game, because normal people just play the game. They play to win. So when it comes to what you said is tax, they play to win, so they learn the game. When it comes to debt, there's good debt, right? There's good debt and there's bad debt. They play to win, so they learn the credit game, they learn the tax game, and they learn the multiple streams of income game. Like, they are learning these games that have been blessed upon them from probably the people in the generations before them, or they, like us, are going to just go play to win. Like, we're going to go right now. We're learning how to win, right? We're learning how to play the game. So I love how you keep saying that, because you got to play to win.
Yeah. And you mentioned like one of the biggest things that millionaires have is like they have multiple sources of income. So that's whether it's a business, there's investments, and even, or if they still have a job too, it could be their 9-to-5 job too. But they have multiple sources of income coming in. And you were talking to Victor was talking about like having the assets and like putting them into trusts and stuff. Not only are they doing them for the tax breaks, but they're doing it like, especially if you own a business, like they're doing it so if someone, like, you get in a car accident or something and someone tries to sue you, you're covered, because they can't go after your business. They can't go after your money if your money isn't in your name. So if it's in a trust, or if it's in, or if your business is in a trust as well, like there's no way they can attack that. So you can have maybe like $100 in your savings account, and that's all they can go after you for.
Yeah, that part too. That part's crazy too. Is that they all do that? Like it's just crazy. Just like knowing, like, and this is just knowledge that's been passed on, right? It's not something that it's just like, hey, this is how, right? This is how it's done, right? This is how it's done, and then every generation just continues on, right? So that's the biggest part of it for me, is just building that legacy. Like all the things that we're learning, it's like just building that for our kids. And I told my wife, we're probably our great grandkids, people we're not even gonna meet, are gonna like
trust fund babies.
Yeah.
Bro, I would love to be a trust fund baby. Like that term gets a knock, but if my kids are trust fund babies, I'm cool with it. You can talk to all the mess you want. Like if I get them set up, my grandkids and so on and so forth, everybody can be a trust fund baby. I'm cool with that one.
I'm straight as long as they learn the system.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right? Because it's a double-edged sword both ways. That trust fund baby could lose all their money, or they can keep this thing going. It just takes one of these fools to mess it up. Super important for financial literacy, because some 14, 13-year-old kid knows this right now from word to word. Yep. He's all like, they're barely learning this. Yeah. Literally, some 13, 14-year-old kid who comes from a trust fund or some kind of wealth, this has already been, what's that word? Stove upon. What is it? Anyway, they've already been taught this. This is basic for them. They know they need life insurance or permanent life insurance. They know they need to invest their money early on into real estate or stocks. They know they need multiple streams of income. They know they need to budget and spend wisely with their money. They know they need to make their money work harder for them. Like these things, they know, man. For a majority of us, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even click here because we were never taught. And so I want to go on a quick point because, I want this podcast to go a little bit smoother. I want you guys to walk away with something that you're attached to, and that way you can go down that bunny hole and go into self-discovery mode. But what was the one thing that I wanted to do? I went blank. Shoot on a stick, bro.
Well, while you think about that, I was going to say, like, when when Vic was talking about loopholes and like how they get tax breaks, it just made me think of a seminar I did years ago before I even moved to Texas. And I've told this story a million times, but it just blew my mind that I just I just repeat it all the time. But there was this guy that was speaking, and this dude, like, it was like, I think it was a March. So it was like only 3 months into the year. And he was saying, so you have that, once you hit like whatever 250,000, you get put into that certain tax bracket.
Yeah.
And so what he does to kind of minimize the taxes is he has pictures of his daughter and his wife in his seminars. So what he does is he pays his daughter $249,000 to be a model for his seminar. He pays his wife $249,000 to be a model for his seminar. So like that's already about $500,000 that he doesn't like. That keeps him under the tax bracket.
That's smart.
And then another thing he said to me that like kind of blew my mind was he's like so like I own 3 cars, or he's like, I have 3 cars. I have like a Ferrari, some muscle car, and some other car that's like his 3 favorite cars. He said, but he's like, he said he leases them, but he's like, I just so happen to own a leasing company, and I just so happen to have my favorite cars. So it's like I'm basically taking money out of one pocket and putting it into another pocket.
So
and I was like, and then you get to the tax break because of the business.
For anybody listening, what Chris is saying is the wealthy don't want high income. High income gets taxed. So your doctors, your lawyers, anybody that makes over 300-400K, 500, 600K as their income, their primary source of income, they get taxed the hardest. So that's why you want to learn the games of investments. You want to learn the games that you don't want high income, because what that guy did was all like, oh, I don't want to be in this tax bracket. How can I throw this money away but still circle back? And so he played the game to win. He played the tax game to win. He understood the tax game. And so I was going to go with the point before I blanked out, was just from the 9 to 5, where people, when we talk about multiple streams of income, I think the misconception there is they'll get another job.
That's a good point. Yeah, a lot of people would think, just get a second job.
You don't trade time for money. That's not how multiple streams of income works, because if you, or either you don't trade time for money, you don't get multiple jobs, because at the end of the day, or you don't get a high paying job either. Like, because guess what? If you're an employee, once you stop working, once you get fired, once you get let go, whatever the case may happen, whatever you have is not steady. All right. You're working for somebody's dream. You're disposable, brother. Somebody can come fall in right after you. Once you stop making that money, once you stop, the money stops. Multiple streams of income is I want to make money in my sleep. So that's how millionaires at the bottom base of the line, that's how they stay millionaires.
Yeah, money is abundant to them. Like they see money as being abundant. They don't have that scarcity mindset like the typical 9 to 5 does, which like, so they're not worried about losing some of that money, like if they make a bad investment, because they know they can make it back. Like there's a ton of money out there, but their main thing is they want to buy their time back. That's what they want. They don't care. They don't care about the money that much. It's more about the freedom. Like there's a quote that I saw the other day. It was, money is a tool, not a goal. Freedom is the goal.
Shivers. Let's wrap this up. Quick tangibles. All right. Track your money. All right. Hire a financial advisor. You need help with money. All right. You got to invest in yourself. Like you have to, like you need to invest in yourself. You need to learn a few things and study the game of credit, study the game of taxes. And guys, like it literally, if you just study successful people at the end of the day, they all have the same blueprint. We're all learning the same, like literally. Just invest your time, guys. Be curious and go after it. Like I always say, y'all want to wrap it? What else y'all got? Wrap this thing up.
No, that was good. Like I said, all this knowledge, all these things that like, how do I learn this? It is out there, man. There's people out there teaching this stuff. Like, and it's not, it's maybe a couple $100
Even if it was
that, to
10,000.
learn it, if people are teaching it out there, like
There's so much free
they're
stuff
giving
too.
it away. Yeah.
Yeah, there's so much free stuff on YouTube, and like Ian has mentioned in the past, like on TikTok now, like there's people talking about this stuff, and you can
There's
find it on
podcasts that'll
everything.
teach you this stuff too.
This
Yeah,
podcast
exactly.
Literally, not
Exactly.
even this podcast. There's literally
Yeah.
like the
Oh, yeah.
millionaires. Their another stream of income is YouTube or Spotify. Just having like a podcast out there teaching what they've learned, and it's nuts.
Yeah, with their sponsors and everything else.
If you didn't take anything out of it, track your money, see where your money's going, and let that burn.
And don't depend on your 401k and Social Security to
Take care of you.
take care of you in retirement.
Nope.
Take care of yourself, brother. Make sure
Especially-
you take care of you first.
Especially when we're older, we might not even have the Social Security. Like that's what they keep saying.
Yeah.
So it's like, which is BS because we put all that money into it and we don't even get any of it.
Right. A big takeaway from me, again, is back to the life insurance is, I'm too stingy to gamble with money. Like maybe a little in stocks, but not to put a ton. But there are a little bit less risky ways to invest your money for you to get stuff out of. This is something that I've learned. So if it's something again like life insurance, that's a bet I'm willing to make, because I know there's a lot more out of it that I would get while I'm here and also when I'm past this life. So that's my big takeaway. To close it out though, roll call for the week. Jonathan, what you got for the week, man?
I need to find a book, brother. I need to find a book.
Yeah, I actually have two that you suggested.
I wrote
I'm
down
not
a
gonna
couple-
lie. I finished my book today. I still got it done for the end of the month though, as you know, we're recording, not when this comes out, but I got it done. I think my next one, willpower doesn't work. It's either willpower doesn't work or personality isn't permanent. I don't know which one.
I would probably do the personality one because I feel like that one might you cling to the most, and I feel that one would like be beneficial because personality evolves, guys. Like it evolves. Don't stick to it too long. Like we have to evolve to grow.
But listeners, if you're curious, it's by Benjamin Hardy. He's got a couple books out that Jonathan says are pretty good. So
I'm moving, fellas.
Oh, damn.
Thursday.
Ooh.
Crazy.
Thursday, I'm moving.
I got a thing.
Yeah.
At 12.
I got movers this time around. Well, we got movers this time around. So
Okay.
I
Well,
don't need
whenever
y'all's
you want to,
favor.
when you want to get a,
Shuffle,
if you want to get a brewski to ease the stress. Vic, what you got for the week, man?
Just training, man. Training. Really gonna dig down on my nutrition part. So I took a certification last month, learned a whole lot. So I'm gonna put all that knowledge to work on myself. So, you know, maybe next time you see me, we'll be ripped or something. So a month from now, I'm looking like Jonathan. But I just focused on really my business, really focusing on that, trying to make it grow. So, and then helping my wife as well with her new business and just kids, stuff like that.
Nice. Chris, what you got for the week, brother?
Work. And then I do have a meeting with your guys' financial advisor. So I'm actually going to meet up with him, just have an introduction with him. Jonathan, you forgot to mention, I mean, you mentioned earlier at the beginning of the podcast, but you also have the meeting with the broker. Yep.
The GOAT of all brokers. Yeah.
But other than that, I'm hoping my book will come in. I ordered it last week, but it seems like it might take a couple of weeks. I have another book on hand if I need to, because I don't want to wait too long.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah,
shout out to all you guys. We kept this bad boy under an hour or just an hour on the dot.
We got 60 seconds. Let's go. Hurry. I gotta go. I gotta go still. No, week for me, follow up with Mr. Kid. I gotta send some stuff in, and then we gotta get the physical, and they gotta check all the goodies and make sure, you know, policy is in place. I also have to set up a meeting with my bank to kind of follow the steps that Jonathan set up. That way I can track my financials better and build that nest egg. But good podcast, boys. I'm gonna close it out. I'm gonna leave everybody with a quote from Mr. Dave Ramsey. He says, "Financial peace isn't the acquisition of stuff; It's learning to live on less than you make so you can give money back and have money to invest. You can't win until you do this. We were born to be great. Go be great. As always, thank you for joining us today. Until next time, peace and love.